Welcome to Visualize, the podcast where collaboration fuels change. I'm your host, Chris Baker, and each week we'll explore incredible connections between nonprofits, businesses, and the community. This is a space where we highlight inspiring partnerships, uncover strategies for creating meaningful impact, and share stories that show how working together can make all the difference. Whether you're a nonprofit leader, a business owner, or someone just passionate about building connections, this podcast is for you. Hello and welcome back to Visual Eyes. Today we are welcoming to the show Diane Pappafotis. Did I say that right?
Right, you did.
I did, yay! Names can be a little tricky sometimes, but I'm glad that I've worked on it a little bit. And you are with the Pride Center. So what I would love, tell me a little bit about your journey and what inspired you to join and become involved with the Pride Center.
The amazing Pride Center. Well, I actually was connected to the Pride Center before I moved to Florida. I moved here 4 years ago. And in my previous life, I was actually following the Pride Center via social media. I was stalking them. And they were building this amazing, which is now a 48-unit affordable housing for the LGBTQ plus community.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
And I did some work in affordable housing in my previous life. So I was following them on social media as this amazing apartment complex was being built. And so I said, that's an organization that I need to follow and I need to stay connected to. So fast forward 2.5 years later, there was an opening at the Pride Center. There was a couple of openings at the Pride Center. And I said, and a friend told me about this. And I was looking. I was not working at the time. I was taking a hiatus, practicing my yoga and trying to figure out what's next in my life. Yeah. So I connected with the Pride Center, had some great conversations with Robert Boo, who's the CEO, Christopher Fagenbush, the COO. And I ended up with the Women with Pride program, and I'm the coordinator. And it's a great place to be, being a woman and getting to hang out with women all day.
That's amazing.
It's a tough job.
Oh, yeah. Sounds really bad. But it sounds like you actually had the time to really, take time for yourself, regroup with yourself. And when that opportunity came in, there was just a beautiful opening. So I love that.
It was. It was great. And I have a background in nonprofit and I feel very passionate about the work. And so it was a great connection right off the bat.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. So part of our story here on being on Visualize is we want to talk about collaborations. So the Pride Center has collaborated with organizations like Coffer Support Housing. Did I say that right?
You did.
Good. And to develop residents for the Equity Park.
Yeah.
So how has this helped the LGBTQ plus seniors?
Well, I think first of all, there's a shortage of housing, affordable housing across the country and in this area. There's not a lot of housing for LGBTQ plus individuals. And so this is a unique offering in the community. And I think the Pride Center, and this happened prior to me being there, but I think it was really forward thinking about having this connection with a community center. As we get older, it's oftentimes can be an isolating experience for folks. And so what a marriage being connected to a community center that offers a variety of activities on campus. And so it's, I think, been a great partnership between the two. Probably some bumps in the road because you have differing communities and populations that may be existing at the same time. But it's wonderful because being on the campus, there are some folks that don't get out a lot, so they can just go next door and take place in events that we have, like Coffee and Conversation, all the social events that we have. We also have wellness events there, so it's very easy for folks who may not get out a lot. So it's been, I think, a good experience so far, and definitely an evolving relationship.
No, that's fantastic. Because honestly, as we age, it's sometimes harder to meet new people. Build those connections, especially in the senior community. So definitely giving them a space where they can actually just be free and, be happy and content. I think I just love that.
Me too. Yeah. I do too.
What other collaborations have you guys experienced in the community with either nonprofits or for-profits that you can tell us some stories about?
So I've been at the community center almost 2 years, so almost my 2-year anniversary. So I'll speak about my own experiences.
Yeah, please.
The Women with Pride program, oftentimes we partner with other organizations to offer services. And so whether it be social, health or wellness, or educational services. Last year, we had an amazing series called Films at the Center. And what we did is we offered some amazing women's films, 4 different films. We had partnerships with organizations like Tello Films. They're based out of Nashville. We partnered with Outshine. We partnered with Franco Stevens from the Curve Foundation. And so these partnerships allow us to offer these great events, and we can offer educational opportunities for folks so they can learn about these other organizations. And then we fill those needs in a way that we can't just do by ourselves at the Pride Center. So collaborations for us are everything, because we're not experts in everything, but we do know how to partner with organizations. And in my program specifically, I often link people to different services. And so I have to know what services are offered in the community, whether it be private or public. And so linking women to services that they need is crucial. And that means we have to have good partnerships.
No, I remember actually going to one of the film nights that you guys had.
You were there. You saved us. We were sinking technically and you saved us. Oh my gosh, that's right. Yes, I've told that story.
That was an amazing night. I love the 2 videos that we got to play.
Yeah.
There was some technical issues at the very start.
Yes.
We worked through it. We figured it out.
We did.
But yeah, that was an amazing night. There was actually a few other for-profits there actually in the back tables that were able to collaborate and give back. One of them I remember was, I can't remember the name, but I remember
Michelle Singer.
Yes, Michelle Singer.
Tasteful Thoughts.
Perfect.
Amazing.
She was there. And then I also remember Francine Sweet with Sweet Life Travel Tribe.
That's right.
She was also there that night.
Yes.
And then also the Skirt Foundation, Skirt So Flow magazine was also there that night.
That's right.
Yeah, so there was a lot of amazing collaboration that evening just to kind of get out there.
It's important. Those organizations help sponsor our events.
Yeah.
So they help us offer events to folks at either low cost or no cost. And it's important to have those collaborations. Again, these organizations, being with Women with Pride, I love to support women's organizations or organizations that support women. And so it's wonderful, these collaborations. We need them. We want them. And when folks come to the Pride Center, we want them to have a great experience. And that's part of it, connecting with their community, connecting with resources, making sure that they come to the Pride Center and they have a great experience, but they also know what else is happening in their community.
Well, and also they need a space to feel safe.
Absolutely. It's part of our mission.
And and that's great.
Yeah.
So actually, can you explain the mission? What is the mission of the Pride Center?
Well, we offer a safe and welcoming place for individuals, LGBTQ individuals, and our friends and allies in South Florida. And so we have an amazing campus. Not only is the Pride Center there, but we host other organizations as well. They rent space from us. To name a few, Dolphin Democrats, Gay Men's Chorus, Sage of South Florida, Trans Inclusive. They're all on our campus. And these organizations do amazing work. They too want a safe space. So we've created that on this campus, and that is our goal, to make sure that everybody in the community is welcome here. And I would say that in my experience in the past 2 years, it is a safe and welcoming place. I've heard feedback from women who've come to my programs saying they feel comfortable there. They may not want to go out to a bar, but they feel comfortable at the Pride Center. We have parking, and they know that they're going to see friends. So I think we live up to that mission.
No, I've been there only a handful of times, but every time I'm there, I've always felt welcoming,
great,
safe. It's been a really good opportunity just to meet new people. I was there for Coffee and Connections.
Yeah, Coffee and Conversation.
Coffee and Conversations.
Yeah.
And that was fantastic. Like I got to just, I think there was some donuts.
There were.
And some coffee. And so it was like
lots of coffee.
It was just an excellent space to just relax.
Mm-hmm.
We got to hear, from a few people that were helping in the community and different events that were happening. So it was a good collaboration.
And not only do you hear about what's happening in the community, but we have a great opportunity for organizations to sponsor coffee and conversation. So they can come in, be a sponsor, help support the event, and we get to hear about their organization. And so each week we have a different sponsor, and it varies. It could be financial services, it could be health and wellness.
Right.
It really varies. And oftentimes these organizations are just part of our community. The individuals in that room probably already do business with them, and they are supportive of the Pride Center, and we want to support them as well.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So on the other end of the spectrum,
Mhm.
sometimes we have some challenges
Yeah.
that we have to face when we're trying to collaborate and work with either a for-profit or other nonprofits.
Yeah.
Can you kind of help share what some of those stories that may have happened so that we can start navigating and how to change that conversation and make it
Absolutely.
easier for us to collaborate with, other people?
That's a tough question. It's a
is.
tough question because you really want to be honest in those challenges in the relationship. So I'll be as honest as I can. My experience sometimes has been there is a feeling of competition. And
Mm,
competition, I think, can be challenging, but it can also be a way to figure out how you can collaborate. And I was about to sneeze. I'm sorry.
no.
How you can collaborate and figure out how you can be stronger together. And
Yeah.
so there have been a few times when I've worked with organizations where we've had to sort of really get into the logistics of what it means to work together in a sense where there's a lot of questions and trying to figure out certain things ahead of time where you may not have all the answers the first time you date someone. You say, well, let's try it out and see how it works. And I've had a couple relationships where folks haven't felt comfortable. They really wanted to nail down very specifics, and it just hasn't worked out. It hasn't worked out. So I think you have to have some trust going into brand new relationships and trying to figure out what that means and be clear about goals, be clear about what it is that you want and what it is you want to achieve together. And if you have that, I think you can have successful relationships. But if you don't have that clear communication, that trust, that goal setting, sometimes things can go bad.
Yeah, it's basically like, building a business or making your mission move forward.
Right.
You have to have the ultimate goal.
Yeah.
And sometimes there needs to be flexibility.
Right.
And if you both can see the ultimate goal and like, this is what we want,
Yeah.
that collaboration effort to work.
Yeah.
But then, they're moving this way and you're moving this way and you're kind of going the opposite direction.
True.
If the new goal isn't in the same site,
Yeah.
you're not going to come back. And
True.
that's the problem. So yeah, you definitely need to clear those goals and the strategies to go, okay, what if we did it this way?
Yeah.
What if we moved the needle
Mm-hmm.
just a little bit to the right, a little to the left, whatever it needs to happen. So that really kind of brings the collaboration back on track.
You've done this before.
Yeah. We've worked with different nonprofits, and even, with working with for-profit, when you have to like have a common goal,
Right.
like, okay, my business is doing this and your business is doing this. How do we work together? And so there's always this collaboration effort. Obviously, this show is more for the nonprofit specifically because we really want to make sure that communities really improve.
Yeah.
And the best way to do that is to help nonprofits, because that's how we're going to start from the ground level and keep building up. So we're building a better foundation.
I love that.
You know what I mean? And so by building a better and stronger foundation through collaboration,
Yeah.
that's where we're really going to shine through. And if everybody is all about competition, like, I have to do it this way and I'm only going to do it this way, you're only limited to what you can see right there.
You said it.
Right?
You're right. Absolutely.
So if we have two people working towards the same method and it's two different organizations or two different people,
Yeah.
you've expanded it exponentially beyond that one person, because now you can see bigger and you have more paths. And then hopefully you get other people involved and that just helps it grow. So I really do feel that this is the reason that we're all here is to collaborate. We need a tribe.
We do.
to actually move the needle forward.
You just said something that I didn't really think about in the answer, but the learning component of it. Every time I've collaborated, most of the time I've collaborated, I've walked away really thinking like, oh, I loved how somebody just did that. And I love how they do this. For profit, nonprofit, doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
It's the learning and the emulating. And I have done it so many times through my collaborations. And I see it. And oftentimes in nonprofit, especially when you're running a program, there is a component to it where you have to market your program and yourself. And just because you're a nonprofit doesn't mean you need to be good at selling. You kind of have to sell a little bit. And it really is doing it authentically and just communicating what it is that you want to do. And I have learned that through collaboration. I've learned to better market myself and my program by watching other people and my collaborations and how they promote what they do. So that is so true that you talk about these collaborations. And I think it's the one thing that I've really learned here at the Pride Center, because my collaborations in my previous life were very different. And so I've done things very differently. I network differently. I work differently. And it's a lot of those collaborations have taught me a lot.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's even taught me a lot in the last 3 years since we've opened our doors to Visuals by Momo.
Yeah. It's been 3 years.
It's been 3 years. And we were just super excited that we're able to, continue the work that we love to do. We're continuing to tell stories, but it wouldn't be possible without some of the collaborations and the people that we have met and moved it forward. Like, they're our lifeline.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm so grateful for them. Like, it really made a huge difference. And every nonprofit that we've had the opportunity to work with, we're having the opportunity to build their story through video.
Yeah.
It's opening doors for them. It's giving them a new structure and a new way to speak to their audience. So it's been very beautiful.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that. Being visual is hard. It's not easy.
Not in this day. Yeah. So in this day and age, how do you stand out?
Yeah.
And, you've got everybody that's on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook and everywhere. And all of them are doing like dances or all of that stuff. And they're so fun to watch. And they're so interesting. But how do you compete as a nonprofit? One, if you're not making enough video content to stand out.
Yeah.
And two, are you telling the right story? It's so important to make sure they're on that same path.
Yeah.
So,
cool.
That's very important. All right. So let's go back to Pride Center. And so you guys have a couple initiatives like the Active Aging Health Expo and Women with Pride program.
Yeah.
So, and they aim to help the community. Can you share any success stories that really stand out of that impact and how it's helping Broward County?
Yeah. I'll start with the Women with Pride program.
Okay.
For the most part, we offer social, educational, and health and wellness programming for women. I say for the most part because we do other things. We do community work outside to help other organizations, but our focus primarily is to offer this kind of programming for women. The stories that I have, the feedback that I've heard, as I've already mentioned, we offer a safe, welcoming place for folks. The community that we serve is not as visible as the men's community here in South Florida. And I'm not going to speak for all women, but some of us like to stay in a little more and nest and not go out and go to the bars late at night. So oftentimes we offer programming for folks that makes it accessible for them. So we have an afternoon program that we offer quarterly. We have events during the day, early evening. And so I feel like sometimes the community has a lot of options if you want to go out late at night or if you want to do certain entertainment kind of activities. We offer programming, I think, for the folks who may not want to do the typical kinds of programming. And so it's important, again, to have a safe space for folks to go to. And one woman came to me after one of our events and said this was the first time that she had gone out in a year since her wife passed, the first time by herself. And so for me, knowing that there are folks out there that are seeing us on social media and in those videos, that they can come to the Pride Center and feel safe and welcome, I think that's serving our community. I think that's hitting the mark. And so I've been excited to be a part of that.
No, that's wonderful. I mean, very sorry to hear that she lost her partner.
Yeah.
But to have that opportunity to go somewhere safe and feel comfortable
By herself.
by
Yeah.
herself,
Yeah.
that's extremely valuable and
It is.
very important. And I know that there actually is a very big women's community here.
There is.
Because I've seen it firsthand.
Yeah, I bet you have.
I have been amazingly working with lesbian thespians, and I've met some amazing people where I met Laylee and I met you through multiple different channels. And just seeing the way that you're building this community and, bringing people together in a safe and fun way. It's so beautiful because honestly, it's so valuable.
Yeah.
For me growing up, I didn't have that.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of like, I'm seeing all of these safer spaces where I can be myself. I can actually, do something amazing and be be authentic.
Yeah.
That's hard.
It is.
It's sometimes hard to just let yourself go from that. Okay, I gotta pretend to do this and I gotta do it this way. Because I came from a very small town.
Yeah.
Less than 200 people. So very, very small town. And
is that even classified as a town? 200 people?
No, if that's maybe it's a village. Yeah. I'm not even sure, but it was hard. And I really knew that I needed to be somewhere diverse.
Yeah.
And so coming down to South Florida was like, this is home. Like, I'm starting to feel like this is home because I've met some amazing people here and the collaborations that I've made and just the chance to actually be me.
Yeah.
Is so invaluable.
And you're contributing to your community. And so I think that allows you to make those connections that you otherwise wouldn't have.
And deeper.
That's right. Yeah. The deeper connections. So that's cool. Yeah. I mean, I met you through connections and networking. And I knew the second I met you, I'm like, this is a great guy. Maybe Momo, not so much, but you are a great guy.
Well, I appreciate that. And I thank you so much. And Momo is a great guy. So
I know.
Just put that one back in. But no, I really appreciate that. Because honestly, sometimes I don't hear it enough.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel it. Sometimes you don't hear it enough. So I thank you.
Okay,
it's
cool.
Very, very valuable. So looking forward.
Yeah.
So what are some of the strategies that the Pride Center is kind of bringing to the LGBTQ community?
Mm-hmm. So things have shifted recently politically. And so a priority that I might say, and I'm not going to speak for our CEO, but I know some of the things that we are doing in our day-to-day is reinforcing that we are a safe place, that we are doing the things that we need to do to make sure that folks are as safe as possible, when they come to our campus. And we are really making sure, at least our leadership is making sure, that we as staff and our community are informed about important issues that are going on, not only locally, but nationally, and really doubling down on communications and making sure we are aware of what's happening, especially issues that are affecting the LGBTQ plus community. And so it's not that we weren't doing that before, but we are really, really hyper-focused on that now because of some changes that are happening that affect us as a community center, that affect us as a community for-profits, nonprofits. And so I appreciate that commitment and shifting those strategies to make sure that we are doing what we can to serve our community.
Yeah, no, that's extremely invaluable and very important right now. So how can, the community get some of this information? Is this information you're putting on the website? Are you guys hosting forums? What are the ways that you're getting this information out?
Yeah, a few different ways. Again, our campus houses lots of different organizations. We also rent space. Mm-hmm. And so oftentimes you will find collaborative events happening on campus with different groups. And depending on what's happening, depending on the month, there are different events. Staying on top of what's happening on our campus. We'll have town halls that are happening. Political groups may meet there. We have support groups that meet there. And so I think it's important to stay on top of the events that are happening with other organizations on our campus.
Yeah.
I'll mention Coffee and Conversation again. That is our active aging program, and it is the largest continuous group of LGBTQ individuals who meet weekly. And we have
Fantastic.
a packed main hall where, again, different organizations come in and inform the community what's happening. We have local law enforcement that's been there, local legislators, leaders of other organizations come in. So it happens weekly, and it is an opportunity in person to socialize a bit and find out what's happening in the community. So I think it's website, looking to see what events are happening and attending our own events.
Okay. Well, that's wonderful. Yeah. So definitely check the website.
Yeah.
Look for different opportunities to get some of this information, see who's coming in to speak.
And if you're on social media, that's another way that we share. We share information about other organizations as well, and what they're doing. And so those like-minded organizations, we're always sharing about events that are happening in the community, whether we're participating or not.
So I'm just going to throw this piece in here. Normally I said it to the end, but now we're talking about website, we're talking about social media. So what is the website and how can they contact you through social media? Can you share those handles?
Absolutely. So we have the Pride Center, which is www.pridecenterflorida.org. That's our website. We are the Pride Center on Facebook, on Instagram, TikTok, and then what's the new one? Blue Sky? Is that
Blue Sky?
Okay. All right.
Still have to get on that one yet, but
yeah, we're on there. Women with Pride is there, so we have a Facebook presence as well. Women with Pride on Facebook, Instagram, and Blue Sky. And then we have an event coming up at Wilton Women's Week. We haven't talked about that, but we're sharing a lot of information about Wilton Women's Week. www.wiltonwomensweek.org. And so that's a big event that we're hosting for women. So all three of those places you can find information.
Wonderful. All right. So now that you brought up Women's Week, all right,
shameless plug.
Yeah, let's jump into that one because I know that's something that we actually have a collaboration.
Yeah.
So
we need you.
Yes. So let's talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah.
When is it? What is it all about?
Sure.
Who is it for the attendees? What are we looking for? Do you need, are you looking for sponsors? Are you looking for extra help, volunteers?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell us more.
Thank you for asking about that. Yeah. Wilton Women's Week is happening April 26th through May 4th. And it is essentially a celebration of the LGBTQIA women's community. Yeah. And it really, the mission is to spotlight and highlight all the great women-led programs, organizations, individuals, businesses, and our allies as well. And it's a week of activities. There's going to be social activity, arts and culture, sports, health and wellness, all happening during 1 week. And is the entire women's community participating in all the organizations? No. But we're trying to get as many as we can to do what they do best during that 1 week, whether it's theater or sports, and we're having a pickleball tournament, and whether it's poetry, it just depends. We're having a dance. It's all happening during that week, and we want women to be visible. We want them to be out and about and enjoying themselves. So we put a week of events together. The Pride Center and Women with Pride is hosting it, but the magic of this event is it's an all-volunteer group of women that are helping organize and run this. And as we like to say, the heart and spirit of this event is happening from the women in our community.
Oh my gosh, that's so awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you said that you need us for this event. So tell us more. How can we be there and how are we assisting you?
Absolutely. So one of the things that we really want to be able to do is not only for folks to enjoy the events and go to them, but for folks that aren't there, who can't make it, who may want to come in the future, we want to make sure that we're capturing this on video. So we would love your help with that. We want to make sure that we're really giving people a great visual experience. And so that's part of what we want to be able to do. And social media as well. And so we're going to have kind of a multi-pronged approach. We're going to have boots on the ground, folks posting about it. But we just want to make sure visually, again, for folks who aren't there or even who are here and we want them to know about the event, we want to make sure, like we said earlier, we're telling that story.
Yeah.
And so it's important. Yeah.
Well, and especially if we can actually have this on an annual basis, you can get more people to come next year. You can get more people the year after that. Yeah. And having that documentation, creating that content library that you can fall back on
Yeah.
for creating multiple marketing.
Mm-hmm.
It's so important. And whether that's captured on your phone, whether it's captured on a
Yeah.
professional camera, it's very important to make sure that you're capturing
Mm-hmm.
all content
Yeah.
as much as possible and then save it. You never know when you're going to need it. A year later, 5 years later,
Yeah.
maybe you need to create a documentary for your organization because it's grown to this beautiful space and
Yeah.
have that content library from 5 years back.
Yeah.
How invaluable is that to put that information into your story?
You're right. And for me, who always messes up on video, I want to make sure it's all edited professionally in such a way. Yeah, you're right. We want to tell that story and we want to be able to do that in a way that's appealing because I don't know how to shoot video at all.
Well, if you ever need help, that's one of the things that I'm going to do a plug here for Visuals by Momo.
Yeah.
So we actually have workshops and coaching to help specifically nonprofit organizations on what level they're at, how to capture it on camera, on their phone, whatever device that they
People
have.
like me?
Yes, we'll teach you how to capture better video.
Okay.
So that you can have that content library.
Yeah.
And then, we also have different tiers that we are able to assist.
Mm-hmm.
Second one is you're capturing it and sending it us to edit.
Yeah. Oh.
So obviously just kind of simplifies the editing process.
Yeah.
It can take a lot of time.
Yeah.
And then when you guys are ready, you don't have the time anymore. There's more resources. We come in, we capture, we film, we strategize, and we edit all of it for you.
So just with our phones. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Start with your phone.
Yeah.
Because honestly, you never know what's going to be needed in the future.
Mm-hmm.
And the biggest thing that really comes down to it is just making sure you have a media storage space.
Yeah.
Either get a really large hard drive, use the cloud, whatever avenue. And it's going to cost a little bit of money to have that stored.
Yeah.
But it's invaluable for future marketing material for any nonprofit. And so that's what we're trying to educate right now into the nonprofit community, because we go and work with some of them and some are like, I have no footage and I have nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how long have you been around? Well, we've been around for 5-10 years.
Yeah.
Where is, we need something.
Yeah.
We can always recreate, but the problem is we want to try to keep the cost down when we're filming for people as low as possible. And if we have to recreate it, that's just an extra cost because we have to bring in more crew, maybe actors, whatever the case may be, to try to get that there. Where if we actually had just even a snippet, like, 10 seconds of just this an amazing piece from 5 years ago, that could possibly be an amazing portion of the story. So it can really be invaluable.
So when you said storage, meaning external, not on your phone, right? Like,
correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Because honestly, we lose our phone. We change and upgrade our models, and sometimes the data doesn't always transfer, whatever the case may be. So you want to put it either on a computer that something's going to be last a little bit longer in the storage, like a OneDrive or Dropbox, somewhere where you can store it. And you may have to pay a couple dollars a month.
Yep.
But it's so invaluable.
Okay, I know now why my phone keeps filling up, because of the video. Okay, that's an aside. I think that's what's happening. Okay.
Yeah. So and that's one of the things that we are really kind of trying to push, is to make sure you save those pieces, because you never know when they're going to need. And like you said, most people are going to be on the ground, boots running.
Yeah.
Words are going to be a little hard for me right there. But you have people capturing the content with their phones.
Yeah.
Find a way for them to send you the content.
Yeah.
And have the organization save it.
Yeah.
So that way they can refer back to it. I would say 90% of it is probably not usable.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't have access to it or you don't see it, you'll never know.
Right.
So
good advice.
Yeah.
Guidance.
Yeah. All right. So as we wrap up today's episode, the last question I ask everybody is about what legacy you personally want to leave for future generations.
Oh gosh, that's hard.
Right.
I really, having been with a couple different organizations throughout my long career, I always want to leave in a place better than when I came there.
Mm-hmm.
That's the easy answer. The more difficult answer is really, can I help leave a longer term strategy? So not only am I walking out the door of an organization, can I help them figure out from my small perspective where they need to be moving in the future and help guide in that direction. And that's a little harder to do because we're always in the weeds with today and thinking about today. But I want to be able to not only just serve the community and help fill gaps in our community, I want to figure out how can that organization, and especially because I work with the Women with Pride program and representing and serving women in our community, what can the Pride Center do moving forward and where do they need to be down the road? And that requires a little more thought. And so that's what I'd love to be able to do. I'd love to be able to leave in a better place and then help them navigate the future, even if I'm not there.
I mean, we're looking for future generations and how do we make it safe for the LGBTQ community? How do we make it future for, all the future generations as a whole?
Yeah.
And we have to look 10, 20, 30, 50 years into the future. We can't just, we want to focus on today because it is the problems that we have to face today. But you're right.
Yeah.
We need to focus on the future.
And even if it's just the next 4 years and figuring out what is it that we need to do, what do we need to prepare for? And if you can do that, I think that that's helpful. And so I don't know exactly what that means for me, but that's what I'd like to be able to leave.
I love that. That's so fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It's so awesome to be here. I didn't thank you at the beginning, but thank you for having me.
You are totally welcome. Thank you for being here and joining us on Visual Eyes. I hope that we had an amazing conversation today. And I hope that the rest of you out there have learned something new.
Thank you. Thank you, Momo.
Thank you for joining me on this episode of Visual Eyes. We hope that the inspiration and practical insights can help you foster stronger connections and meaningful change. Don't forget to subscribe, share the episode, and leave us a review. To learn more about Visuals by Momo and how we support collaboration and storytelling, visit visualsbymomo.com. A huge thank you to everyone out there listening. Until next time, remember, collaboration fuels change, and your connections can inspire the world.